Have you ever stood by a beautiful, tranquil lake and felt a sudden, inexplicable chill run down your spine? As if the calm water holds secrets far deeper and darker than you could ever imagine. Today, we're traveling to Fresno County, California, to a place that looks like a postcard-perfect recreational spot, but is known to locals for something far more sinister. Welcome to Avocado Lake, a place some call a graveyard of ghosts and untold stories. By day, Avocado Lake is bustling with life. Families picnic on its shores, boats cut through the shimmering water, and the air is filled with laughter. It's a man-made reservoir created from a former gravel pit designed for joy and relaxation. But as the sun dips below the horizon and the crowds disperse, a different kind of energy takes over. The laughter fades, replaced by an eerie silence, and the once inviting water turns into a dark, mysterious mirror reflecting the night sky. It's in these quiet moments that the lake's most enduring and tragic legend comes to life. For decades, whispers have circulated about the spirits that haunt these waters. But one story stands out, a tale so heartbreaking it has been passed down through generations of Fresno residents. It's the story of a mother and her child. The exact details are shrouded in the mists of time, as many local legends are. Some say it happened in the 1940s, others claim the 50s. The story goes that a young woman facing unimaginable despair came to the edge of Avocado Lake with her small child. No one knows for sure what led her to that desperate moment. Was it a lost love, financial ruin, a moment of profound hopelessness? The reasons are lost to history, but the outcome was tragic. In an act of ultimate desperation, she walked into the cold, deep water, taking her child with her. Neither of them ever came out. Ever since that fateful day, visitors to the lake, especially those who stay after dusk, have reported chilling encounters. The most common sighting is that of a woman, often described as wearing vintage clothing, walking along the shoreline. She appears forlorn, her head bowed as if searching for something or someone. Witnesses say she seems almost solid, like a real person, until she either vanishes into thin air or, more terrifyingly, walks directly into the lake and disappears beneath the surface without a splash. But it's not just her apparition that haunts the area. Many have heard the distinct, heart-wrenching sound of a woman weeping, a sound that seems to come from all directions at once, carried on the night wind. Sometimes the sobs are joined by another, even more disturbing sound, the faint, ghostly cries of a small child. Fishermen, campers, and late-night thrill-seekers have all shared similar stories. They'll be sitting in the quiet of the night when suddenly they hear it, the unmistakable sound of a child crying for its mother. When they go to investigate, there's nothing there. The sounds just stop, leaving behind an unnerving silence that's somehow louder than the cries themselves. One of the most unsettling aspects of this legend is the feeling many people report. They speak of an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair that washes over them, particularly near the water's edge. It's a heavy, oppressive feeling that seems to seep out of the very ground, a cold spot in the air that has no logical explanation. Some paranormal investigators believe this is a form of residual energy, the powerful emotions of that tragic day, forever imprinted onto the location. It's as if the mother's sorrow is so profound, it has become a permanent part of the lake's atmosphere. Over the years, the stories have grown. There are tales of people feeling an unseen force pulling at their clothes as they stand near the water, almost like a small child tugging at their sleeve. Others have reported seeing small, wet footprints appearing on the dry boat ramps, only to vanish moments later. Some people who have gone for a late-night swim have sworn they felt something cold brush against their leg in the deep water, a touch that feels distinctly like a human hand. These experiences are often so visceral and frightening that many locals refuse to go near the lake after dark. They respect the water, but they also fear what lies within it. Skeptics, of course, offer rational explanations. They suggest the crying sounds could be the wind whistling through the trees or the calls of nocturnal animals. The feeling of being watched could be simple paranoia, amplified by the spooky setting and the power of suggestion. The apparition could be a trick of the light, mist rising from the water, or simply an overactive imagination fueled by the local folklore. And it's true, the human mind is a powerful thing, capable of creating fear where there is none. But the sheer number of independent accounts from different people over many decades makes you wonder. These aren't just one or two isolated incidents. It's a consistent pattern of similar experiences, told by sober, credible individuals who went to the lake with no intention of finding a ghost. They came for a peaceful evening and left with a story that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Could so many people be mistaken in the exact same way? The legend of the woman and her child serves as a somber reminder of the very real tragedies the lake has seen. It's the perfect spot for a family picnic, a day of fishing, or a refreshing swim on a hot summer afternoon. The sun dances on the water, birds sing in the trees, and the laughter of visitors often fills the air. It seems idyllic, a postcard-perfect recreational area. But linger a little longer, wait for the sun to dip below the horizon and the shadows to grow long, and you might feel something else. A subtle chill in the air that has nothing to do with the evening breeze. A sense of being watched from the murky depths. Because beneath this peaceful surface, Avocado Lake holds a dark and tragic history, a reputation that has earned it a chilling nickname among locals, the Graveyard. For decades, this man-made lake has been the scene of an alarming number of drownings. The official records are grim, but local lore suggests the true number is far higher, filled with stories that never made the headlines. The question that has haunted this community for years is, why? Why here? What is it about this seemingly calm body of water that has claimed so many lives? Some point to logical, albeit tragic, explanations. The lake was carved from an old gravel quarry, resulting in an uneven and treacherous lakebed. What looks like a gentle, shallow entry can suddenly drop off into deep, cold pits. Unseen currents, remnants of the King's River that feeds it, can swirl beneath the surface, powerful enough to pull even a strong swimmer under without warning. Add to that the thick, cold water that can quickly induce shock and hypothermia, and you have a recipe for disaster. These are the scientific explanations, the ones that officials cite. But for many who know the lake's history, these reasons are only part of the story. They believe something far more sinister is at play. This is where the line between tragic history and chilling folklore begins to blur. The most pervasive and terrifying legend of Avocado Lake is that of a vengeful spirit. The story, passed down through generations, speaks of a woman and her child who drowned tragically in the lake many years ago. The details of their deaths are lost to time, shrouded in mystery. Some say it was a terrible accident, others whisper of a darker, more deliberate act. But whatever the cause, the legend claims her sorrow and anger were so immense that her spirit became bound to the water. They say she lingers in the deepest, coldest parts of the lake, forever searching for her lost child. Overcome with grief and rage, she mistakes living swimmers for the one she lost and pulls them down into the depths with her, hoping to end her eternal loneliness. It's a horrifying thought. Swimmers have reported sudden, inexplicable feelings of being grabbed or pulled from below, a chilling sensation of icy hands wrapping around their ankles. Is it just the weeds, the currents, or something else entirely? And the woman is not the only ghost said to haunt these waters. Another prominent tale involves the spirit of a young boy. He is often seen as a spectral figure standing on the shore, sometimes appearing to be crying, sometimes just staring out at the water. Witnesses describe a profound sense of sadness emanating from him. According to the legend, he too was a victim of the lake. He waded into the water to retrieve a toy, misjudged the depth, and was pulled under by the swift drop-off. Now, his spirit is trapped, forever replaying the moments before his tragic end. Some people claim to have seen a small, ghostly figure wading into the lake, only to vanish completely as they get closer. Others report hearing the faint, disembodied cries of a child carried on the wind, even when the park is completely empty. These encounters are often fleeting, leaving those who experience them questioning their own senses, but the consistency of the reports over many years is hard to dismiss. These stories aren't just confined to the water's edge. The entire park area surrounding Avocado Lake is considered a hub of paranormal activity. People camping overnight have shared unsettling experiences of hearing footsteps circling their tents in the dead of night, only to find no one there when they look. The sound of disembodied whispers and hushed conversations have been reported coming from the empty picnic areas after dark. Perhaps the most unnerving reports are of shadow figures seen flitting between the trees at the periphery of your vision. These dark, man-shaped silhouettes are said to move with unnatural speed, darting away the moment you try to get a clear look. Are these the spirits of other victims, forever bound to the place where their lives were cut short? Or are they something else entirely, entities drawn to the sorrow and tragedy that permeates the very soil of this park? The sheer volume of these tragic events has led many to believe the lake itself is cursed. Some local legends trace this curse back to the land's origins, long before it was a lake. They speak of ancient burial grounds that were disturbed when the quarry was dug, angering spirits who have sought revenge ever since. This theory suggests that the water is merely a tool, an instrument for a much older, more powerful force that resides in the land itself. The negative energy, they say, is palpable. Visitors often report a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread or sadness upon arriving, a feeling that they are unwelcome. They describe a heavy, oppressive atmosphere that can turn a fun day out into a deeply unsettling experience, urging them to leave as quickly as possible. It's as if the land itself is warning them away. So, what is the truth of Avocado Lake? Is it simply a dangerous but beautiful recreational spot where a series of unfortunate, explainable accidents have occurred? Or is it a place marked by a deep and abiding tragedy, a watery graveyard haunted by the sorrowful spirits of those it has claimed? Perhaps the scientific explanations and the paranormal legends are not mutually exclusive. Perhaps the very real dangers of the lake, the drop-offs, the cold, the currents, are amplified by a lingering negative energy, a psychic residue left behind by decades of fear and loss. Maybe the terror a swimmer feels when caught in a current is misinterpreted as a ghostly touch. Or maybe, just maybe, the spirits of the lost are truly there, their warnings and their sorrow tangled with the weeds and the currents below. The next time you see a picture of a beautiful, placid lake, remember Avocado Lake. Remember that sometimes the most serene surfaces hide the deepest, darkest secrets. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration into the chilling stories of Avocado Lake. What do you think is really going on there? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you found this story compelling, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more dives into the world's mysteries. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.